Welcome to Your Divine Business, a live coaching talk show that features Christian entrepreneurs and offers practical steps to launch and next level your business. It's your go-to resource for faith-driven entrepreneurial wisdom. So grab a cup of coffee and join me. Hello, everyone. I am so happy you are here with us on another episode of Your Divine Business, where I feature Christian entrepreneurs. I've been doing a little searching. She might not be a Christian entrepreneur, but she's hanging out with me. So we're going to find out a little more about that. I meant to mention that before we started. But anyway, I feature Christian entrepreneurs and I help them launch and next level their God partner businesses. But in today's episode, we're going to talk to Tess. Now, Tess, tell us a little bit about yourself and the work you're doing.
Yes, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for your invite. Yeah, I'm Tess. I am literally calling right now from Iceland. I am from the Netherlands, so I kind of lived everywhere, and now I ended up in Iceland. And I'm a business mentor, helping people really find their own voice, kind of translate that into their own methodology, their own concept, to teach their audience. I always call that their circle of influence, their audience, their people. And when you find your voice and your methodology, then it's also, I find it very important to help people really run a business, right? Because a lot of people have a big passion and a lot of, really genuine wish for their audience. But my audience is like spiritual, creative, and social entrepreneurs. And I noticed over the more than a decade working now in this field, that that's actually the group that struggles a little bit with having a consistent revenue, or like really understanding the structure of how, let's say, the business game is really played. So I want to make it very concise while keeping this passion also alive, to have it remain your unique business as well.
Yeah, love that. You can tell that she works very much like we do, guys. She's talking about what we call the sweet spot, right? That unique signature products, that proprietary process that one might want. And so she is a great fit for us, Tess. We do this show in a way where we let you introduce yourself and a little bit. What's the name of your company?
It's just my name. It's Tess Baghuis. It's just my name. It's a Dutch last name, so a bit hard to pronounce. But I have kind of like a work name that I use very often, and that's then called the Universal Laws of Business.
I saw that. Yes. Yeah. Okay, very good. Yes, we pretty much all use our names as well. So we get that. Spell your last name. I am actually in Orange City, Iowa, which is a Dutch community. So I had no troubles. But go ahead and spell it for everyone.
It's a Baghuis.
Yeah, very good. All right. We love to hear success stories. This will help people that are struggling to find that kind of signature product, the real strategy behind what makes them different. If they want to come to you for help in that area, tell us a win story, or maybe something of your own that just helps people have some trust.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking now, I didn't really prepare this call, but I'm thinking now of a client that I recently spoke to, and she started working with me like a couple of months ago, and she is this really amazing videographer. And I saw that she had made short films and won a lot of like these prizes. I saw that on her website before she became my client. And then when she started to work with me, or when we did actually like a discovery call, she told me, yeah, I don't really make my money with that. I just film sort of in corporate, behind the scenes videos. Like, for example, a brewery company like showing really nice images, like how the beer cans are moving, stuff like
kind of their story or something.
Yeah. Well, not even their story. It was just like their way of working.
Okay.
And so I said, why do you not transform your passion into your work? She saw it like very separate, like, this is my passion, but I can't make money with that because the money lies in just showing up as a freelancer with my camera, making very beautiful images, but kind of soulless. So then we found really her model. So I dove into it a little bit with her, and is I like, look, didn't you study something like cinematography? And she said, yeah, I studied script writing and being a cinematographer. It's like, okay, surely there must be some resemblance in this process that you're doing when you're making a short film or even a feature film, and when you're maybe making videos for corporations or entrepreneurs. And so that's how we derived her model and her methodology. So then we turned that into a lead magnet and explaining some certain steps. And based on that, we then crafted her new core offer, which is called cinematic content creation. And so her new target audience are also online entrepreneurs who need really beautiful footage on their Instagram or their website, really showcasing their vision, their audience, and their product or their service. And so that, I think, was in a quality way a very big win. But then, of course, that started to translate in her making tens of thousands of euros, since she's a European client. So she has now made just so much money with that. And I always say money is just a result, but of course you also want to make money in your business. But to me, that always comes from finding who are you and how can you then translate that into business? And then how can you with strategies and systems start to really communicate that to an audience and then sell it. And, that's then where the business development really takes off.
Yeah, I agree completely. We love that. That is a great win. I love your very specific example for people to understand that sort of umbrella effect. Yeah. Like when you go to certified coaching training. So that mixing of their gifts, their sweet spot with the skills that they have, with what fills them with joy. It's awesome. So now tell us a little bit about where you're at in your business, because you're doing quite well, and what your kind of next goal is.
Yeah, right. Well, I kind of had a similar path. I was just starting out as an entrepreneur, I think by now 5 years ago. And then I was sort of copy pasting what I saw online, right? Like just showing up and having this camera in your face and stuff like that. And then I also found my own, passion, philosophy, belief also in what I am as a person interested in, regardless if I have a business or not. And I started to take that way more serious, because I always thought, that's just me. It's not really meant for my business realm, right? It's more like my personal interest.
Right.
And then I started to translate that into my branding and my messaging, and then also into my lead magnet and my advertisement, my meta ad. And then I made the switch, I think 2 years ago, from Dutch, so I was only serving Netherlands and Belgium, to just English. And I started to run ads, and because those ads are just drenched in this idea, this how you can view what you have to do here on this planet, and then use your business as a tool to express your purpose in short. It's a big message in a short sentence. It's just started to really speak to people.
Yeah.
And by then I had, of course, learned way more and more about business. So I had also the strategic tools and systems in place to convert the people who were like, how do you say it?
Stepping into your lead magnets.
Yeah, who felt like connected to this message. And then they stepped into this lead magnet and they became my client. So where I'm at in my business right now is, whereas before I had only organic marketing through Instagram messaging and only from the Netherlands and Belgium, now I basically never really show up on Instagram anymore. And I have mostly international clients, all with a very, very simple, it's basically a three-step strategy structure that I have. It's just running and running and running. And it gives very beautiful clients, because they all came to me because my message spoke to them. So automatically, those are the people who have a similar view on things.
Yeah.
So kind of with this methodology and this concept development, my business really exploded in terms of, could kind of sit back and relax, so to speak, because I had the systems work for me and I found my voice and my messaging.
Okay.
And what I offer is one-on-one coaching and group coaching.
Yeah.
And where I want to go with my business is to package all of my knowledge more into videos, because I'm actually going on maternity leave very soon.
Yay! Oh, good. Yeah. Okay. So putting it into somewhat more of an automated course kind of thing is what you're going for next?
Yes, so I've been working for years one-on-one, and then that turned into a group because that's of course more scalable. So that's very logical steps, like start one-on-one, really get to know your audience, gain a lot of experience, then package that into a group, and then package that into maybe pre-recorded material. So while working with one-on-one clients, I've of course made a lot of exercises tailor-made to them. So I have like so much knowledge scattered around.
Yeah.
And now I'm just repackaging that, organizing that into very more concise. Okay, this is the material you have to know when you want to run ads. This is the material when you need to know when you want to do sales through a sales call.
What platform are you going to use?
I use Huddle. It's actually a Dutch platform, but you can put it into English. So I have just, it's like an online learning platform, like Kajabi a little bit, but just similar.
Yeah, very good. Okay. And so, you can hear, I'm thinking of the listeners, you can hear that she very well may have had coaches. We don't know that helping her. We don't need to know that, but you can tell she's learned as she's gone and gotten herself to a really good space, moving things into, I always want to help the person that's on the call as well as anyone listening. And so moving into this space from being present, whether it's in group or private, and then moving to more of a online space. We've seen the kind of crash and burn companies that have done that because they just stepped out a little too much. And then we've seen other ones that, they have this automated things. People are loading in, they're almost coming faster, and the person ends up even more busy than they were. So they're trying to navigate this ins and outs of this huddle, she may say. So when you're setting this up, what is your dream for amount of your contact with them? Are you going to totally be out and they're going to know that it's simply online, or are you going to try to be partly present? What's your game plan?
Well, actually, before the call, I'm literally due in like less than 2 months. It's 15th of May. So it's very, very fast. And I'm now decreasing, like I'm now at the end of my one-on-one coaching container. So I will stop working mid-April. And so my game plan is to launch this passive course collection of all of my knowledge that I've gathered over the last years. But I will really miss this real life, or like live, at least, contact with people. So I thought, okay, I will launch it in such a way that if you become one of the first members to join my program, which is called The Energy and Strategy of Money, then you'll become a founding member. And then I will have the time to do one live mastermind in group. That will then be sort of the kickoff for this first round of the course. And then I will disappear because I want to go just 100% fully present. It's my first child. I want to keep working, but I promised myself, no, you will just become a mother. And I also didn't send an end date to it. This will be at least 3 months. But of course, at some point I will come back. So then I think I will add in like mastermind moments, maybe once a month, where there's like live Q&As and stuff like that. But the course will be designed in such a way that you will just get all of the tools, very implementable, very concrete, to do it yourself. But of course, feedback and a little bit of a back and forth conversation also really helps.
Okay. Well, I think that's really good. And I think this is great for people to hear. In fact, we've not really had this come up in one of our calls. And it's just so good. I mean, I've been there. I've been through the gamut where, I did only one-on-ones. Then I went to group like you. Then I went to pulling way back. And then I had to come back in because the dream is passive income. And you seem a little bit like me in that you really are doing it for the person. And when that happens, you're all of a sudden not hearing, seeing, or witnessing the growth of that person. And the great income when we're in these multi 6-figure ranges, which you had said on your social platform. So I felt like you were probably there, and we're truthful. But when you're in that space, it's really easy to lose sight of the person's growth.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so one thing I thought of while you were talking that might be helpful, and you maybe have this already, but is there somebody that's come alongside you or a shining star that you've served that would allow you to kick off, launch this, and that it's announced that it's your maternity leave and 3 months, and that they will be doing a once a month, or if you want, once a week or every other week, whatever, mastermind call for you. But the understanding is after your maternity leave, you're committed to that once a month, because it will make that online course so much better if they know they get you a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I've literally just said goodbye to a friend who walked out of the house before I hopped on this call. And we were literally talking about that, like maybe replace yourself as the coach. We were talking about when you're scaling your business, eventually you sort of become the CEO, having like an overview rather than doing the deliverables and the operations and stuff like that. And what that takes for you mentally and emotionally to let go and to delegate and to teach to people what your values are and how to implement things and stuff like that. So it's funny that you ask, and I've been thinking about that. Like, shouldn't I just delegate myself basically as the coach during these months?
Yep.
And I mean, I might be wrong, but still, it feels like that's almost the one thing I can't replace. I could put someone in there because I also have like a little course called the Content Club. And then in that one, we come together each month to create content. I was thinking about outsourcing or like delegating that to a friend entrepreneur who's really good with content.
Yep.
But I think the deal is just like, look, I will be away for at least 3 months, and I will come back at some point to do these calls. Right now, I can't imagine that I cannot show up once a month. But again, it's my first.
I agree. I was thinking that too. You know, challenge yourself, because your role as mother is literally the most important role. It really is. You maybe haven't had a season where you're solely off, completely off for a whole month. And when that happens, if you've tested that maybe on a vacation or something, you know, then you know, gosh, okay, I love this, being off, being free, all that. But I also know that I want to be engaged. And to say one call a month probably isn't hurting your daughter or son. No. What is right?
It's daughter. Yeah.
Oh gosh, I'm so glad you have girls. I only have girls as well. I really love this conversation. I actually have so many more things that I want to talk to you about. I just remember when we bounced into that multi-6-figure kind of space and we were like having to grow. We had to grow. Guys, those of you listening, you can see Tess is really off to a great start. She has a care and a love for her people. She also desires to be a good mom, right? I mean, you can't go wrong. And that is the dream of entrepreneurship, is to be able to do it all. And yet sometimes we don't allow ourselves the privilege of it. And then sometimes we get off balance and then we have to crash and burn because we weren't taking care of ourselves. So guys, I think this was a really good talk. It's one we've never had on this show before. So I'm glad Tess was here. Tess, tell everyone again how they can get to your stuff, how they can find you, and then we're going to head out.
Yes. Okay. So you can head to my Instagram account. It's called Tess.Baghuis. Let me just check that to be absolutely sure. Yeah, Tess.Baghuis. And then in the link tree, you can find my lead magnet, in which I explain this whole concept, my methodology. It's tied to like the universe and stuff like that. So it's very spiritual, but I find it very funny because actually it's very down to earth, because I also used to be a banker. So that's sort of hidden in this, like, look, okay, it's great. You have the passion and the genuinity, but I want you to be successful in running a business. And for that, you need also structure. So I'm very spiritual, but I'm also all about Excels and data tracking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's all explained, and cash flow. So it's all explained in this guide. So you can download that through the link in bio.
Yeah.
And then you'll end up on my email list. And since I'm going to promote this energy and strategy of money, you'll be part of that to become a founding member if you want.
Awesome. I love that. You guys, thank you so much. Those of you listening, you know, I don't know how I forgot to mention this. It's not very fair to Tess, but this is Christian online business. So know that Tess is great, spiritually involved. A lot of her work is weaved in that way. So we have listeners of all spaces. So we just want to make sure that everyone's clear on that, right? So let's go ahead and head out of today's episode. And thank you for tuning in. I cannot wait to connect with you on your divine business.